All right, friends, as we continue our update here on the St. Croix models Long Easy, we're getting ready to do our top section, our midsection, and our root section with the 2-ounce fiberglass. And once again, we have gone ahead, we put our blue tape on. You're putting the blue tape so it extends 1 inch from where the outer panel meets the mid panel. Over here. One other thing I did too, let me show you real quick. Let me see if I can flip this over so you can see it. Okay, so as one of the things I noticed when I was putting on the top portion of the outer panel, I know we're looking at the bottom, but there was a lot of additional epoxy that wound up along the bottom portion of the leading edge. And obviously, the key thing here is we want to keep this as light as possible. So I put some blue tape along the edge here on the leading edge so we can still wrap the top portion around but not have additional epoxy, which in turn would lead to additional weight. So you can see what I did there on both sides. Anyway, that should take care of the problem. We'll give it a shot. Haven't tried that before, so something new. So we'll go ahead, we'll put on our 3M77, and then we'll go ahead, we'll lay on our first layer of the 2-ounce on the top. Once again, friendly reminder, for the directions here, notice how the first layer, look at the grain. First layer, the grain is going straight. Second layer, it's going 45 degrees to the first layer. Okay, so just a friendly FYI on that one there. All right, folks, more to come. All right, friends, as we continue our update here, we've got our 2-ounce cloth in place. We're gonna go ahead and start epoxying it. Once again, same technique, 3M77, put your glass down, take your time with the center section, really get out as many of the air bubbles as possible. Now, one thing I mentioned in a previous video is I said do not put the glass here, here, and here, and because I said the fuselage sat in between, that's wrong, I'm sorry, I misspoke. This just sits on top of the fuselage, this section in here, this area, okay? So it's okay if you put glass in here. You're gonna need to anyway. Don't forget to also put glass right here on the actual spar itself on both sides, okay? Because when it comes time to spray paint it, you're gonna want a good finish and a good glassing. Anyway, so we've got that on. We're gonna go ahead and we're going to begin the epoxy process. All right, more to come. All right, friends, continuing our update here, we've got our midsection and root sections complete epoxied. We've got our fiberglass in place, and we used once again the 120 epoxy that we've been using. I really like that stuff. That stuff just does a beautiful job. Doesn't come out tacky once it's fully cured. So I'm really impressed with it. Really like it a lot. Still hit it with a heat gun as usual. Same technique that we've been using all along. But you can see it came out really well. Had a little difficulty in the center section here, but everything went well, really well. And of course, there's some stuff hanging off, and that's okay. We'll let it fully cure, and then we'll trim all that and sand it and everything. All right, so we've got our top and bottom 2-ounce on our center section, going this way, meaning matching the way the center portion is running. Now we need to go through. Once this fully cures, we're gonna flip it back over to the bottom, and then we're gonna lay a 2-ounce, but this time the grains are gonna run this way, 45 degrees, if you will, okay? And then we'll do the same thing on the top, and then after that, we're finally finished doing the fiberglassing. So this has been a tremendous learning experience, I gotta say. Anyway, that's pretty much it, and more to come. All right, friends, as we continue our update here, we now are looking at the bottom of the wing. We're putting on our second covering of the 2-ounce fiberglass, and I just made a big boo-boo. I put down my 3M77, and instead of laying the fiberglass at 45, I laid it at 90 again, but you know what? I don't care. It's all right. It's a 40 size plane. We're not pulling high G aerobatics. We're just doing some regular level flight. And there's 2 ounces, 2-ounce layers of fiberglass on this thing, which is way more than I would ever put on a 40 size plane. It's not going to bend or flex, so it's fine. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead, we're going to trim off the excess, put down our epoxy, and then we'll let that dry overnight or for a full 24 hours. And then tomorrow we'll go ahead and we'll do the top And then that'll be it with regards to fiberglassing the wing. All right, more to come. All right, folks, as we continue our update, I want to show you something. You know, if you've got an X-Acto blade, a number 11, as you can see here, and if it's sharp enough, you can cut right through this fiberglass like a hot knife through butter. Let me see if I can do it one-handed. But you'll see it just goes right through very easily, okay? So that gives you a nice close finish. And you want to trim everything off before you put down the epoxy. At least that's what I would do. If you have a different technique, that's fine. But anyway, just to let you know. All right, more to come. All right, friends, continuing with our update here, you can see we have our epoxy in place over top of our fiberglass, and it just came out really good, really good. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can get you. Yeah, okay, there we go. That's a little bit better. Anyway, you can see that you can't really even see the fiberglass. It just turned out so well. And once again, I can't say enough about that Hysol, Hysol, 120-minute epoxy for putting on the fiberglass. It really does a nice job. Now, don't forget to mix in a little bit of 70% isopropyl alcohol to thin it out, okay? But you can see it really just did a perfect job. And using that blue tape the way I did, you can see it gave it really nice, clean lines. We don't have a lot of excess epoxy over here like we had previously, and that's perfect. That's perfect. We also got some very clean lines on the leading edge. Let me see if I can zoom in. A little bit of a fray, but that's okay. We're gonna let that dry, hit that with some 300 grit, and then we'll go ahead and that'll smooth that out. But it went on really well, so we're gonna let this dry for a full 24 hours, and we're gonna go ahead and do the top in the same fashion, which is our second coat of the 2 ounce. And then the wing will be done. And after that, we're gonna focus on getting the servos installed from there. So anyway, that's it for right now. More to come. Hi friends, welcome back to the Plain Fun RC channel as we continue our update here on the St. Croix models Long Easy. So the bottom portion has dried, so now we're putting our final coat of 2 ounce fiberglass on top. We put down our 3M77 spray adhesive, and we got our fiberglass on there. We're going to go ahead and do some trimming, and then we'll go ahead and put our epoxy in place. All right, more to come. All right, friends, as we continue our update here on the St. Croix models Long Easy, you can see we've got our second coat of the 2 ounce fiberglass in place. Now, I had to use 30-minute epoxy rather than the 120-minute Hysol because I did not have enough of the 120-minute Hysol. But 30-minute epoxy, a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, and of course, scrape off the excess with a playing card, and you're good to go. And of course, we still use the same technique of the 3M77s, putting that down first. Anyway, you can see it looks great. Came out really well. We're gonna let that dry overnight. And while this is drying, we're gonna move on to the canard and get that taken care of. With regards to the ailerons in the instruction manual, it does say to glass the ailerons, and we're not going to do that. They're just not big enough and long enough to really warrant going through and glassing them. So they're going to be fine. We're going to wind up also going through, once the wing dries, putting our servo right about here on the bottom. So I don't see it being an issue at all. Anyway, so the wing is basically done, and that's about it. So more to come.